Wow.
But yeah. All right.
That's rude.
Okay, that's for the sync. So we live and recording. Live audio is recording. And welcome to another episode of Erryting Kool. Yeah, you know, it's been a long time. One of my boys just called me today. And he was like, wait. No, he was like, what you about to do? Because he was asking about coming here at Chosen Few Studios, liking the atmosphere and wanting to record and all that stuff. And I was like, yo, I about to go there to record a pod. Nah, I about to do Erryting Kool. And he's like, wait, you ain't put out one of them in a minute? And I was like, yeah, I mean, you know, life been happening and just burnout. But I was like, bro, the last 2-3 episodes we had like Cassius Stewart, Alexis Gray, the Bahamian wrestler, and then I interviewed the people that did the Inferno Gaming Tournament. That's the last 3, and it was like a 5-month gap between the Cassius and Alexis Gray part and the Inferno part that was in November. So you know, I can if you up that high, you gotta stay up there. So it's like, all right, it ain't no pressure. I still got 2 parts I can do so to feed the people, but we back here on Erryting Kool. So that's my explanation for the absence from this. Now, today we're gonna get into, I think, a story that needs to be told. And I always through the I think this episode 104 or 5, one of them. Oh. So throughout the whole 100 episodes, you know, I like to bring on people who, you know, a lot of people, these people I grew up around. Mm-hmm. I get into the different stories because, you know, I like to keep the pulse of Bahamian society on. So, without further ado, let me introduce my guests for the day. And we have Pastor James Johnson in the building.
Yes, sir. It's good.
So, welcome to Erryting Kool.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
The tourists come over to chill on the beach, but they don't come over the hill where we sleep. We got nightmares and they got fantasies. No sanity, it's just insanity. My mommy hoping nothing happens to me.
Thanks. Thank you for the invitation, my brother.
For sure. So what we like to do on this show, before we get anything, we have the Bahamian word, phrase, or saying of the day. And we always give that to our guests.
Okay. What? You want me to give you the word?
Yeah.
Whoa. Any word?
Yeah, any word. Whatever comes, like it can be a word, phrase, or saying. So one of them either life lessons or whatever, like, you know.
Okay, I'll do this. No matter how far you fall, you must get back up and keep on moving. Yeah.
I like that. So, Mr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
Where do we begin? So let's talk about
let's roll.
What was life like for you growing up? Because like my first encounter with you was obviously I going to school with your younger brother Jerron.
That's right.
But you would come around, pick him up from school with Charles is your cousin, right?
Yeah, that's my
okay. So yeah,
cousin, yeah.
We picking up Charles, Jerron, the same time. Mm-hmm. You know, when y'all had the rap group and you was Escalade, y'all would perform together. So that's like my first early initial things around. But like, let's walk us from the beginning.
Well, the beginning, grew up in church. Came from an excellent family. Father's a doctor. Mother was an educator. And she turned out to be a national youth director for the Church of God. And that's that. But life growing up was pretty good. You know, me and you had a good life as well because we went to Kingsway. So
you went to Kingsway too?
Yes, I stopped in grade 8.
Okay, because I always was like by the time I would have come to Kingsway, you was out of school.
Yeah. I went to Kingsway till up from K5. And then my old man went to Jamaica for 2 years. We went with him. Came back in grade 4 or 5, one of them. And I stayed until grade 8. And then I went to a few other different schools. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you was always like coming on to those school grounds wasn't something that unfamiliar to you and then people.
No, it was my people. And,
Okay.
at that point, and I'm not ashamed to say this, I was about to repeat grade 8. So that's why I left. You know, my old man asked me, listen, if you want to stay or you want to go to a different school. So, of course, I choose to go to a different school because, at that time, I couldn't take all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because they're the same situation.
Yeah, but now he's about to be a lawyer in about 4 months.
Yeah, so that's why I ain't about how you start.
It's
how
not
you finish.
how you start, it's how you finish. So this is ideal from where we're about to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, so because at the time you was at Palmer's Baptist College.
Yeah.
And you were studying to be a doctor?
No, I didn't. I didn't go that way. I actually was studying accounting, and I didn't like it, but it was something that I was kind of good at per se, I was always good with numbers and what's not.
Okay.
And I say, man, shoot, what the heck? Just do it. Because there's a standard in the family, you got to get your education. That's key, no matter what happened. So, I did that. Of course, I got deterred. I came out, I got a job at a shipping company. I was a ship agent. And I was making good money, clearing the cruise ships, dealing with the oil tankers, all of that.
Okay.
And after that, I transitioned. But we can get there.
All right, so because we moving
fast.
Yeah.
We can listen.
All right, so okay, so I came out of school 2010, and then I think you would have graduate from BBC when 12 or 13.
That was in 2012. Yeah,
all
2012. Right. So I had that, and after that, I got a job to a bank over here.
Okay.
I was working.
So you was always in the fight. I don't know why I thought you was a doctor. Or you was in medical school.
No. I didn't follow the father's footsteps.
Okay.
No, didn't. So I went to a local bank, was working from like 2012 to about 2000 and when I got married. I got married in 2014.
Yeah.
And then 2015, it was a drought. This is where my life started to turn in a direction.
Because around that time, that's when you and my good cousin, I ain't seen him in a long time. It was Trevor.
My brother-in-law?
Yeah, Miller.
Right there, man. He right there. right there, man.
Yeah, that's around the time that y'all started doing
YAC, Young Apostolic Circle.
Yeah. So what was the beginning? Before we get that, so what sort of called you to ministry?
To ministry? Yeah. To be honest with you, growing up in church, I used to beat the drum in church. I was not a good boy. I can be real. I was in church, go to church every Sunday. Dad was elder, mother was elder, reverend, all of that. But I wasn't focused. I didn't fully answer the call yet. I just, we got to go to church Sunday. Let's go beat the drum, whatever girl come and you trying to get with them or, all of that. But it was a defining moment for me when I think I had a dream. It was a dream and I saw myself ministering to like thousands of people. And I was like, boy, even though, my mummies do this, my old man is teach Sunday school good. I'm cool just being a musician, cool. If you want me to rap, then I'll rap, but. And from there, I knew that I heard the Lord said, listen, you can go far. You're going to be in ministry. You're going to preach to young people. But, okay, whatever, brushed it off.
So which year this was?
This was probably when I was maybe.
So this was like before you got married, or?
Yes, before I got married.
Okay.
No. I was maybe 19.
Okay.
Maybe 19, I think. Maybe 19. And from there, I just was going through it. And then I met my wife. My wife plays a vital part in who I am right now. Some people, they call me prophet. And I was not so much, not to say I did not believe in it. I grew up in the Church of God, whereas, kind of the Baptist thing, and we don't really do that. We sing, we charismatic. But when it comes to that deep level of having a deep communication with God. It wasn't, no. And she brought me to this church. And this lady called out and spoke to her. And she said, I don't know you. I don't know your husband to be, but he's a big guy. Describe me to the teeth, and you two can move in ministry. And she helped me along with that. And from there, when I got married, I took a course in the Church of God. It's an exhorter's course, which makes you a minister. And from there, it was just, it happened so fast,
So you, obviously it's important to highlight that, I guess by your mid-20s, late 20s, you was already married.
So I got married
and still married.
Yeah, going on 11 years.
Yeah.
It was, and when you hear the rest of the story, you'd be like, Jesus, that woman off the chains.
So, because why it's important for me to highlight, because I work a lot of weddings. And I have this thing where I say it's 2 to 5.
2 to 5? You think 2 to 5 years?
Yeah. And then it's a lot of people.
Why you think that though?
No, because I don't think it. I say, because people get married for the wrong reasons.
That is true.
They got 2 to 5 years. It always if they get married today, check up on them next 2 to 5 years to see.
And you're correct to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because people get married for the wrong reasons, for real.
Yeah. So, it's always good to see, someone, why I interviewed another married couple a couple of weeks ago. That episode came out. And I'm like, why you get married? Because we live in a society where people say, but that don't make no sense. Why you gonna do that? Or whatever. And they got married young too and still together. And they just their 4th, 5th anniversary. So,
It makes plenty sense, my brother. I'll tell anybody that I'm not half a hallelujah without my wife. I can tell you. You know the scripture, and the scripture says, when you find a wife, you obtain favor from the Lord. And a lot of times, when I got married, some things that I thought was not going to be possible became possible. I don't understand it. I don't know what it is, but it's all. I'm telling you.
That's interesting.
So I just pray you get married soon. That's all. I pray for that.
Sooner than later for sure.
Yeah, man.
So, being newly married, starting your young career, and then getting into ministry, are you juggling and managing all of this at this time?
It's easy because my wife understood the assignment, and we worked hand in hand. See, in our church, we have, I'm youth pastor currently, and then we have certain sections. We have inner circle group. That's where young ladies from the age of, I think, 18 to about 35. It's almost like a small group discussion, like a helping circle. What you call that thing?
Empowerment circle?
Something like that sort. Okay. And, and she heads that. So she understood, she walked hand in hand with me and still is to this day walking hand in hand with that. So when you have someone who understands the assignment or what your goals is or where you're trying to go, then it makes it easier. The problem comes in when someone don't understand and you're trying to juggle, the marriage and the church, but by all means, handle your marriage. I'm saying that to anyone out there who listens and understand. Do not put all your time in church. If your husband ain't in church, take care of your husband. The Bible says the husband is saved by the saved wife. The unsaved husband is saved by the saved. So by your actions, if anyone who watching this, by your actions, and you think that's a struggle, just continue to be the husband, be the wife that you are. Don't talk about my pastor stay. And if anybody come around me whenever, I ain't into that. I'm going to go home to your husband.
Oh, man.
I really like different. I like them different.
No,
because I a little different.
It was a clip from Rodney Monker's show. It was like, prayer meeting is be going too long. Why you out?
I real talk. As a man, why you out there all the time? And the pastor is a man. So come on, we are men of God. We'll always be men. Yes, we are a relationship. We try to do it, but we still are men.
For sure.
Yeah. Real talk.
Oh, man.
Real talk. Don't come. If you're coming, you join the ministry, you talking about me, I straight. I don't need nothing from you. I have my wife. I good. I good. Real talk. I telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
Oh, man. So, we get to that. So, starting, what was... It's something, man. What the name of the movement was?
Young Apostolic Circle.
Okay, so why the YAC?
Yeah, YAC.
Now I remember around. It's like me. I sort of take myself like I was Batman or something. Like I was watching everything,
Watching.
keeping stock of everything, and it's like I ain't in tune with it, but I see it happening. So whether it's like okay, later on I'll ask more about it and get more
Right.
information. So y'all started the starter movement and started to get traction. What was y'all thinking behind creating YAC at the time? Because this would have been 2015, 2016?
Yeah, about that time, 15,
Right.
16. The reason behind it, I just wanted to encourage, and I'm always an encourager. No matter what happening with me, I find myself always trying to encourage somebody. Always. That's just God gifted me. And so I hopped on a live and I said, Trevor, I say, boy, let's pray for some people. Let's just go live and record a video and pray for some people because there's a lot of hurting people going on. I know a lot of people don't think prayer can change things, but prayer definitely changes things. So I said, let me just offer a word of prayer to help out to encourage somebody, because a lot of people be losing their mind. They be going through some hard things. A lot of people sick. A lot of people facing things, I said, let me just offer a word of help. And from there, it just started to expand. Every Sunday, we say, okay, let's offer some word. Let's go into the scriptures. Let's see how we can help you, I never ask. And one thing I stand with, and I'm always going to stand with that, I never, because I see some preachers and some people out there, the minute they go live, they put their PayPal information and all of that. I am not with that. And my YC people could tell you that. From the time we never ask for a donation because the word of God is free. Never. And I don't intend to do that moving forward. Yeah.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Because I saw, it was growing, the videos, the numbers started to rise up.
Yeah.
And then as we get into 2017, if we go into 16, 17, that's when I came back to Nassau, moved back home after being overseas.
Okay.
And then, surveilling this place. The crazy thing about it is, you're saying, people were hurting and downtrodden 2015, 2016. Imagine what has happened since 2019 to now.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Like it's a whole world because we had life-altering worldly events
I'm telling you.
take place.
Losing
since then.
jobs, some people losing their lives. It was everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, we need that more than ever.
Yeah.
So what was the ultimate goal and what was the switch? What was going on? Because around this time, you was close. Your first son was being born like 2018. Right?
17.
Okay, 17.
March 1st,
So,
yeah.
March 1st, his birthday just passed.
Yeah, he's 8 years old now.
Yeah. That's how fast time is flying.
Firstborn, yeah.
So, being a newly father and embracing fatherhood, having this budding ministry, like what's going on through your mind at this point?
Well, basically, I the only thing I could do, my brother, is lean on God. God, whatever direction you have me to go, I follow it. A lot of people that say, God, order my steps. When you say, God, order my steps, you have to follow the direction he leads you in. And this goes into where, in 2017, was one of the worst years of my life. All right? A lot of people know, probably watching off the rip, could know and say, okay, that's the Johnson fella, we know. But that is where I started to really question. Because I just got appointed youth pastor in 2016.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, you just get appointed, doing your work, I doing your will, and then boom. What? So all in my mind is, I have my newly wife. We done been married for that's 3 years. I'm about 14, 17. That's 3 years. Fresh marriage. Newborn. What? You understand? So in that moment, I wanted to give up on God and be like, boy, the hell with this. I ain't interested. Find somebody else.
Let's take it back a little bit. That day, I try to remember what was the date? I feel like it was
Worst day of my life?
Yeah.
August 18th.
Yeah, I felt like it was in the summer, August 18, 2017.
Yeah, man. Worst day of my life. Worst day of my life.
What was it, I guess, when you woke up that morning? Like, what was going through your thoughts? You felt like this was a regular day, just going to work?
I felt it was a regular day until I got called by someone who was, quote unquote, representing me and said they want to question you about something.
Okay, so you had knew this was coming before that's particular.
No,
Okay.
kind of like a blind side. I was like, okay, well, fine, cool. I mean, I'm not running. I ain't nothing to run from. Let's go.
Yeah.
Went, and then all of a sudden, I'm in cuffs, and I'm heading down to
Bankers Lane.
we call it Bank Lane.
Yeah.
And back then it wasn't like now it is now where they don't put your face on the thing. I mean, you don't be over there. And sometimes I question, I say, but why you do this to me then? So everyone could see who I was and what's not. And hold that thought right there, what I just said. Why you do that? Why you put my face all over the place? You understand? And as it is now, they don't do that. They put a law in place whereas and if you get charged, you don't do that.
Yeah, because too much. It was too much retaliatory things happening. So
You don't do that no more. So I'm comfortable walking, shackled, and they say, hey, we're going to charge you for misappropriation of funds. What's not? It's okay, cool. I say, I ain't do nothing, so let's roll. Went through it. Told my parents, wife, everyone was supportive, walked through, and I walked through with tears in my eyes. And the only thing that really got to me is, how social media is. Dangerous. It's
and then
good.
Yeah. You were supposed to be a man of God.
Yeah, so
right.
So all the narratives and all the stories, everybody, he thief and bishop, this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
And then everyone making up stories that I didn't know about me. And that was the only thing that really got my mind and got me sad. Yes, the fact that I walked in cuffs and had to stand before the court, never did this before in my life. I was crying, of course, I was emotional, but I knew that God was with me even in that. I say, but God, this happened, you're going to have to think with proper representation and all of that and what's not, I would have been all right. And, but then when you went home and you got straight and you got bail and what's not, and then you see the comments, and then you see the stories, and then you see the lies. And
because, like I said, I've been watching things. So I've noticed after that, you sort of went social media dark for some years.
Yeah, you have to. See, the organization that I'm in, the Church of God, when you are in a situation, even if you're right or wrong, because they have proper structure in place, and then you have to take a seat, and that's fine. Because there's a lot of other people out there, they be doing a lot of crap when they still up there preaching to the people. I didn't want to be a distraction because it was a high profile case, all of whatever and what's not. So how does it look that I just was all over the news, all over the internet, and then you up here trying to preach with me? No, people is not going to receive that. I'm being real. So I had to take a break, sit down, catch myself, see what God's saying, and just relax. And in that time, he showed me some things, talked to people some things, and I knew the outcome before anybody knew the outcome. I knew the outcome.
Because what intrigued me about this whole thing, right? I saw that happen, and then I didn't hear nothing more about it until so I was like, my thinking was,
you thought it was over with.
Not just that, but I was like, from the start, I was like. Man, because me and my mom was saying that, man, someone had me in the phone, man.
You are a sensible Bahamian.
Yeah.
There are not much sensible Bahamians. You know me. You know my father's a medical doctor.
I know where you live.
You know where I live. You see in my house. Okay, so it's not, people just don't, but that's not just Bahamians. Shout out to Medi Center. Shout out to Medi Center. That's my own man. But anyways, just want to plug that in. But you were sensible. So a lot of people came, they call, they say, hey, we praying for you. We understand. We know the story. We know the situation was what. That's fine. That's cool. But, I'm still human. I'm still seeing things. I'm still seeing people look, people.
And you ain't used to this because social media is a new thing where you get publicly crucified, right? But you're still alive.
Everywhere, I think I'm have a story. This is not telling me this is that. He do this, he do that. And you know how people go. They can eat up anything.
Yeah.
That's just Bahamians. So went through that, and then it went quiet for a while, and then another rough time. So in that time, I wasn't really doing nothing. I almost wanted to just give up on one. I thank God for my wife in this time. She really held it down. She have an excellent job, and she, listen, I with you, baby. I with you. I know you. I know you, okay? I know what's going on. I with you. And, she stuck with me. She handled the bills, everything. You understand? And she did not make me feel less of a man in that process, And I thank God for it because I was able to raise my son. You know?
Yeah, because during that time, this was, I guess, 4 years until you finally got resolved.
Yeah.
Okay. Because obviously during this time, Dorian happened, the pandemic
pandemic, everything. So I was able to hold my son until about, he is 3-4 years old, and then send him to school. So a lot of people don't like to send their newly born like that. So I thank God, even in the bad situation, I always try to look for the positive. And I was a positive, you know. Spend time with him. Was able to raise him up, whatever, and what's not. And then 2021 came, you know, because in that window, I say, boy, they must forget, but I know the system don't go like that. You know?
Yeah, just backlog.
It's just backlog. And, you know, game there. It was a Friday night, February 27th. Yeah, Friday night. Allegedly, all the funds they said that I allegedly stole, they only narrow it down to a very small amount. So I'm like, okay, then, so if that's the case, then, you know, you could find the rest where, you know. And so I was facing 7 years.
Wow.
Facing 7 years to be incarcerated. And the judge said, I sentence you to, what did he say, 3 or 5 years, something like that. But I didn't understand it, right? Or something of that sort. I didn't understand concurrently at the point. So in the end, I only had to do 2 years, which is cut down to about 18 months in prison. All right.
So let's stop right there.
Let's stop.
Because I've interviewed one of my good friends of many. Actually, when I started this, he did 20 plus years in jail.
Yeah. Well, and over here?
No, U.S.
Oh, no, that's a cakewalk, bro.
No, but I'm like, I always tell him, one of my worst fears, even I just had a nightmare about that the other day. Like, one of my worst fears is having to go to jail. Especially if I know being wrongly accused, having the whole, I remember I did jury duty over the last couple of years and seeing how, like, because the police don't do the proper detective work, and you leave it up to the people.
And unfortunately, over here, we just need to put it on somebody so it could get out of the way so the other people who, you know, could move on. That's just unfortunately how it is.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, being wrongly accused or like, you know, having other friends that did different bids for different situations. And then obviously, you know, having bigger media figures doing time and or either they was famous before they gone to jail or they famous since they come to jail.
Yeah.
Like Wallow, for instance, from the $1 million worth of game bar. He did 20 years in jail now. He's a motivational speaker. So hearing these stories and hearing these jail stories is like, bro, just the idea of jail is like a place where you could get a human being to be the most barbaric version of themselves.
And put it to you like that. That's hell on earth.
Yeah, exactly.
That's hell on earth. All right. I mean.
So like, what was it like? Because obviously coming from your background,
yeah,
to go to a place like that for that stretch of time is 18 months is a little bit almost 2 years.
Don't mind saying it looks short. You know. Yeah. And there they probably say, "Man, that's small time," because you know that face worse. But to me,
that's a long time.
I ain't about that life, bro. I can't grow up like that. Yeah. You see? So, yeah. So, what you saying now?
So, they always say is this. They don't hit home until you sit in that cell and you see that jail gate closed and you have that moment of silence.
Yeah, that's the first night. When I first got in, I had to be Friday night. I got sentenced, so I had to stay in some police stations until Monday, until after court. And so you were reaching, you was in the bus. And I read this thing say maximum security. I said, motto. So it hit home for me. This me, motto. I can't believe it. You know, because all along you probably interacting with the other persons who was there for trials for different things, and you talking and you trying to, you know. But when it hits home, when it's just you
in that cell,
and they put you way in the back. And then the first thing you smell is the scent because there's no proper sanitation. And then that's another topic for another day. That's another topic.
Because they just did the upgrades, I think, recently.
Yeah, but that ain't, come on, man. Yeah. That ain't for everyone.
Yeah.
That ain't for everyone. It's overpopulated. Yeah. And I always try to advocate that they do something better. Yes, they might have done wrong, but they still are humans. Yeah. You know? But the first thing you hit is the scent. It's a scent like no other. It's almost like a book that I read back in the day, Divine Revelation of Hell. And they said in the book, when you die, if you're not in Christ, there's a scent that is no scent like no other that you smell when you entering into hell. And that almost, to me, my mind directly went and I say, this must be the scent here. That's all
They're rotten in flesh. Huh? Rotten in decomposing
rotten
flesh.
in flesh, rotten in feces.
Yeah.
It was terrible. And so when you get into I think I'm a space very much smaller than this, where we are right now, with about 8 other men, and you come in and, and you have to find your way. Thank God like I said in the interview a couple of months ago, I was a big fella. They kind of respected. It's like I didn't force myself or nothing, but they could see, hey, this boy ain't belong here. He cool. He little big on that, so I ain't got fool. So I was able to lay down on a piece of a cardboard that almost to the front of the cell. Usually, if you're not rated, they put you to the mess bucket.
Nah.
Yeah.
So, why another thing that I realized is I just listened to this artist just put out a whole album from jail.
That's Tory Lanez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I listened to it, and I was like, yo, he already institutionalized, because what he talking about is like you only been in jail for like a year and some change, but your mind already adapted to it.
Trust me, and then you're on to something, because if you're not strong minded, you'll be very institutionalized. Very, you understand? Like I told some young men who I work with, who I am. There's a suspension center. You know where I am. You know where I am. There's a suspension center. And every time they get suspended from school, they come there, and I would go in the back and try to explain my story to them. And some take it, some don't take it. And to try to deter them. But in there, the reason that is because a lot of young men don't know their purpose or don't know what they want to do. They just following one another. Okay, for instance, this generation now, they like to wear these small, tight shirts.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask about that.
And these skinny, tight pants. And the shirt can't even get it. I already speak about that. You know how I feel about that. That TikTok video already gone viral. I did not like that. And I see them doing it in the church, though. My wife asked me, so you going to dress that? I said, man, I just doing, I chilling right now.
No, but you want to fire with that?
Because come on, man. That ain't making no sense. And they wear these tight shirts where your shirt can't even go in your pants. You understand? And these skinny legs. So I say, why you doing that? Their response is, they don't know. Why you don't cut your hair properly? Oh, I don't know. Or they gonna laugh at me if my head bald. You understand? Because they lack a sense of direction. If you don't know where you're going, you can just go with anything. That's why institutionalize it. That's why it's like that right where it is like now.
But how you said that is the same thing what was said when we was growing up.
Yeah.
So the cycle just continues. It just look different, but the result is the same.
Just different,
outer domination. But so obviously, okay, so getting accustomed and adjusted to life on a chain gang, like what some of my friends said.
But let me tell you, the first thing that someone told me, it was I wouldn't say mentor, it was someone that was a sensible guy I met in there. I wouldn't call his name for just purposes. I wouldn't do that. And he helped me a lot along. I think he was doing about 6 years, and he had maybe 2 years left. He also was the one who taught me how to play backgammon as well, a game that I truly love. Shout out, anybody want to see me, come see me. I said I used to play that for bread and water, 23/7. That's a saying. Lockdown 23/7, play that for bread and water. Yeah. But oh Lord, I lost my train of thought right there.
But just in the chain gang.
Yeah, you have to adjust. So the first thing he told me is you have to get your mind off the road. And you have to know that this is something that you have to do. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So in that time of uncomfortability, I started to do things. You have to do positive things. Because you could get, influenced by them. A lot of smoking goes on. A lot of people doing a lot of things, idle talk. Some of them fellas thinking about the next thing they can do when they come out of prison. Yeah. Next move they can make. All of that, who they can rob, who they can kill. That's just the reality. So you have to put in your mind that, hey, let me try to do something productive. And in that time, I learned how to play backgammon. I had a book. I should have brought my book. I should have brought it. I had a book where I wrote every day. I scratched off every day. It's a calendar from 2021 straight to 2022 there. And I scratched off every day. And I would write down my thoughts. I would write down what I see. I would write down what I heard. I would write down everything. And out of that, I wrote 2 Christmas plays, out of that. And I did them in 2022. It's a Christmas play I wrote. Just sitting there just writing, letting my mind wander. The best thing you could do with that is allow your mind to roam freely on positive things. But the adjustment, you just have to do it. It's nothing that you do. What I would suggest to anybody, and I ain't the first person who's been incarcerated, and I ain't gonna be the last. And if you ever watch this, and you go to Fox Hill, try to find yourself a job in there to let the time pass by. Because if you're just sitting in the cell or the dorm, the time will go longer. So that's what I did. I got a couple of jobs, and I was outside maybe from early in the morning, like from 7 to about 3, and just keep your mind off it. I lost a lot of weight as well too, but you know how that happens. After you didn't have the McDonald's and the good food like that, you put it right back on. So you all pray for me with that. Pray for me.
What was it like? Okay, so was I was gonna ask, what is like all the different programs are in jail? Because now they having like BTVI coming on stream and all this.
Gosh. Anyways, I don't want to badmouth them. I don't want to badmouth them because, okay, I'll say this. They have BTVI programs, and they have barbering programs, and they have plumbing programs, and they have electrical programs. But I'll say this. However they try to make it out, it's not 100% what you think it is. That's all I can say.
No, I mean, for sure, because you would be, obviously because prison is supposed to be a reformatory place, but it's not really.
Reform up there.
It's more so it break you.
No, it can make you or break you. That's all it is. It will make you or break you. Only the strong survive, my brother. That's all I can say. It is not like the States. Like so when you told me the guy did 20 years, that's a cakewalk. Over there, you can get your degrees, you can do all the things. You don't have that. You're just trying to survive. And if you don't have the backing of your family in there, you could get swallowed up and easily just lost in the shuffle.
So how was your family dealing with all of this from you being sentenced to the jail visits?
Well, of course, I believe, it's embarrassing to know that, you have a good family in the church and you're a part of a good organization. Your parents are established individuals. And, some people would tend to blame them. They say that they didn't raise me right, but that's not the case. They raised me exceptional. And you'll see as we progress and talk forward, for them, I don't know how they feel. Sometimes we would get to talking and they say, I don't know how y'all feel with me being in there and y'all out here. I don't know. I know they miss me. I was talking to them every day as much as I could. They supported me as much as I needed, and that helped me significantly. My brothers, while I was here away from school, they would make sure that my son was good. And then Trevor along, he played an instrumental part, because my 2 brothers was off in school. Yeah. So he played an instrumental part, making sure my son get to school, making sure that commissary money was on the gate for me from my father, all of that. So, it's important, to make sure, select your right circle, we thank God for them for that moment, If I didn't have them, I would have cuckoo.
So, last day in there.
Oh, yeah.
Final day.
Jesus have mercy. Oh, God. I talk this story all the time. Listen, I was set to be released because it goes by. I got sentenced on the 27th. So, you count 18 months from there, which would have been a 26 or a 27 date. I initially thought I was coming home on June 24th because it was a weekend and what's not. So, I know they say, no, you got one more last weekend. And I came out June 27th. My last day.
Oh, that's on my brother's birthday.
Yeah, I came out that last day. That last day I came out. So, that Sunday night, After 6, they cut the water off because I was transferred to a medium dorm then, minimum dorm then, which is much. No, don't get me wrong now. It ain't no hotel. It still had a lot of rats and roaches running around, but you could have bathed in a shower with some cold water, and you could have laid down on a chinch wood in a bunk bed. You know what chinch is?
No.
Chinch is bed bugs. Bed bugs exist.
Yeah, I know. I've seen bed bugs before.
Yeah, they call them chinch.
Why?
Yeah, they dangerous. They
because they suck up all your blood.
They bite you. My first night, I had chinch and mosquito attacking me, and roaches running around, and the rat running after the roach. It was kind of like comedic at some time, something to laugh at. But so my last day, they cut the water off at 6, right? And about 3 a.m. sometime, I got up. I started to clean up everything, and they have a saying: you don't carry nothing from in there home.
Yeah.
But the shirt on your back with your, what you have, and I had that in the plastic. I didn't touch that, never wore it, nothing. You don't want to carry nothing from there home. So I got out of my bed and I sat on the bunk like this all night, looking out the window, just waiting. I literally watched the sunrise from 3 a.m. Because before that, they ever think lights go off at 10. God will come in the gate, lights off, cut the lights off. So before that, I was playing dominoes, playing backgammon, whatever. But when the lights go off, I sat on the bed from lights go off at 10, from 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, and the lights got back on at about 4 a.m. They do the count in the morning. So usually a lot of guys be sleeping and they would tear down the sheets that you have. They didn't have to do that for me. I was sitting there like this beating, sat at the door. And at about 9, maybe 10, I called my family. Everyone was to the gate. It was like, we coming, and then, there's a thing, that phone, you have 10 calls, and I think I used my last call. So they was trying to figure out between the hours of 8 and 11 what's going on. They probably thought I wasn't coming home no more. Sorry about that. And got in, walked out, and then there was a kitchen across the way. And the guys working in the kitchen, everyone was, freedom, freedom. It was kind of like a solemn moment for them because nobody likes to see nobody leave in that sense. You'll feel some type of way, And, I'm by 11, 30 hours out the gate, I met my wife, and my brother's there, and that was it. And ever since then to now, I've seen God do some miraculous things for me. Trust me. And we could get to that.
Yeah, let's get into it. What was like the first reception? Like, what was the first thing you did? After you left, when you met out the rest of your family or whatever.
I can say this and you can laugh. I made my second son. I made my second son. However you take it, that's just what it was. Made my second son. I was out June. My wife was pregnant in July.
Wow.
Yeah. Now my son gonna be 2. My next son gonna be 2 next month.
Okay, so what was like your first meal? Like who you see? Like what was your first Sunday? Was like back in church?
In church? Yeah. Oh, that was. Those people was all over me crying, boy. That was something. I was crying. They was crying. Everyone hugging me up, this and that. Lord, thinking about that was something. It was like a homecoming, because the church was praying for me. And the church that I go to, we're a very tight-knit, close church, And yeah, that was, but that first weekend, that first week was, I don't know, it was almost like people just was blessing me, but like, it was like, hey, hold on to this. Hold on to that. Hold on to that. Listen, I want to pay for you and your wife to go have dinner. Hold on to this. Go take a trip to Elutra. Stuff like that. It was just like everything that I've gone through, the Lord was just adding things to me. Like, this was coming out of left field. I wasn't asking for it. I wasn't asking my old man, hey, book me a ticket. No, I wasn't nothing, bro. I just was chilling, trying to get myself together. And what I did, in that time I enrolled in school. I said, well, I can really finish this. I can go. And I said, number one, never doing nothing in finance again. Never. I don't care what happened. I'm not doing it. So I transitioned to IT. Got my first certification, IT Fundamentals Plus. And now I'm currently working on another few right now. So, and that's what I did. And then I enrolled in theology school. Last year, I just got my associate's degree. And in about 10 days, I'll be getting my bachelor's degree. So,
Congratulations.
thank you, man. So what I did, despite of what I went through and what people might have said, I created the narrative for my life. I switched that. You understand? A lot of people would say, oh, but last time ET for all that money or whatever. Yeah, that's fine. That's what you say. But I can show you this narrative, what I could create. And now, every month, I'm in someone's church preaching. So, from quote unquote inmate or someone who you deem to be bad to spreading the word of God non-stop. Yeah.
Because, by the time when I saw you on the panel, I'd see you was active again.
Yeah,
I didn't know you were going to jail.
Yes,
a lot
of people don't know, a lot of people don't know.
It was just like, okay, he just subsided and it was like this.
A lot of people said I was on house arrest and all of that. All type stories, bro. I was like, wow. But him, it's going to really add on for you.
Yeah, because, what sort of probably got the ticket back is when you went viral with the video about the dancing and things like that. Because it was like, hold on. Okay, he back now making videos or whatever. Because obviously life happens and people would take a break, don't necessarily be a couple months and maybe years. And then you, after, see different things, go through certain things. And then you have this newfound insight to where when you want to step back in. But when you mentioned all this and going to jail, so I'm just like, hold on. So he was found guilty for this and he had to actually go into jail because I heard on the next video that you was actually telling the story. And I was like...
on Eyewitness News, Yeah, bro.
Actually, yes, that's where I heard it. So then I was like, all right, cool. And then when I saw you at the place, I was like, all right, now it's sort of all making sense. So I was like, all right.
Listen, I ain't ashamed of what I went through. I would have been ashamed if I had done something or I was wrong and thing. But the Lord carried me through and I don't worry about what people might say or the reputation per se. One thing before my grandmother passed, and that really hurt me too because she passed while I wasn't there. I wasn't able to go to a funeral or nothing. And anyone knew me, I hold my grandmother very tight to me. And she said, son, and she said this, I think I went up there Friday. She said this to me Wednesday. She said, son, don't worry about your reputation. Allow God to fix it. Allow God to see people for who you truly are. And from then to now, it's almost like a blur. Only sometimes when behaviors want to be trapsy or people would say, well, that'd be all right, cool, whatever. No worries, It's a story of redemption and restoration. No matter, like what I said at the beginning, no matter how much times you fall down, get yourself back up and keep going.
So what was it like, I guess, mentally just adjusting back into things and or was it, we didn't take like a break to like woosah, you just immediately okay, let me start doing
back in ministry?
Yeah.
No, because...
Not ministry, but not just ministry, but just even the degrees and certifications. Because obviously coming from a traumatic event like that, it's like, I got to deal with that experience. And then...
That's done behind me.
So basically, lastly there, that was
behind me. From the day I walk out of there, that was behind me. And that is behind me now. But see, a lot of people just get stuck. Oh, yeah, this happened to me, that happened to me. My daddy wasn't there, my this wasn't there. They do this to me, they do that. And it puts you in a place, and that's what the enemy would try have your mindset in. Oh, you can't go no further, man. You see what they do to you. If I had kept that mindset, I would not have been certified in IT. I would not have begun my bachelor's degree in a couple of days. I would not have been pursuing to go do my master's and get another IT certification because I would have stayed right in that same thing I'm right there. Probably can stressing out everybody because I ain't trying to do nothing because they saying, oh, they do this, they do that. Ain't no one gonna hire me. No. You change the narrative. That's it.
Because I find that you find a lot of people, they were moving forward, but they still holding on to the past.
You have to let the past go.
Yeah.
I have people who I love hate me. Family. You understand? So I just had to let it go. In order for God to bless me and what he's doing right now, I had to let them people go. And anytime I get up to preach or motivate somebody, you have to let go of hurt. You don't let it go, but ain't nothing gonna happen for you. Yeah, they hate you. So what? That's humans.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's what I be trying to tell people, you know.
you have to let it go.
The more, it's almost like you holding, let's say, I can hold a water bottle in my hand, right? It ain't heavy, it ain't hurting my hand. But the longer I hold it,
Yeah.
it can start to weigh heavy, and my hand get weaker.
Real talk.
And me carrying it around and not holding this water bottle, the weight of it hasn't changed. But the amount of time has passed of me holding it
You
has
stop
changed.
playing, boy. You need to start preaching. Get ready, boy. Get
No,
ready.
but real.
Yeah.
But as soon as I release it,
Yeah.
that relief, I ain't got to worry about being weighed down by something
Real
that ain't
talk.
changed the shape. The only thing that was changing is the length of time I was holding on to it.
Yeah, that's
So it's
it.
like, you know, I always tell people, yeah, you just gotta let it go, move
have
on.
to.
Like, you know.
You have to. You understand?
Yeah.
You don't let it go then. You're going to be stuck in that same cycle. And I ain't trying to be stuck. I'm trying to progress forward. And I see God moving in ways and doing things. There's so much opportunities that I've encountered with since prior thing. I thought I never would get these opportunities. And you know, certain things you don't want to say. You don't want to
Yeah.
preempt it. You don't know. So I'm telling you, I'm in a great place. That's all I can say. I'm in a great place right now. Really.
So after coming out and experiencing all these personal things, what do you have to say to, you said it earlier, where there's a lot of young men that are lost, you know. I'm always strong on emphasizing that people find their purpose.
Yeah.
Because without purpose is your anchor to life living.
That's right.
Because if you don't have an anchor, you just be flying everywhere.
Going wherever.
you never
To
can
and
land
fro.
somewhere.
That is true.
So, what advice you have to young men in finding their purpose, in sort of not just their purpose, but their divine, godly purpose into how they should live their lives and the direction that they should go, so they won't be so wayward, and avoid you can't avoid every pitfall, but you could. When you
Pitfall is
do,
part of life.
yeah, that's a part of life. But when you in the
life.
pitfall, you know how to get out and go back on course, even though it might take you a little bit of time, but you know how to navigate the situation.
Well, the advice I could give young men in finding your purpose, I'll ask this, anytime I'm at the suspension center, where you see yourself in another 2 years? Do you want a wife? Do you want kids? You want a good job? 99.9% of them would say they do that. So I'll go to them, I'll show them, I'll say, this is my wife here, I'll show them the picture. I'll show them my 2 boys. I said, how do you think I got this? Man, maybe because you work hard or you this and that. I said, first of all, and I always say this top 3 to them, your relationship with God is important. A lot of people might not believe in God or whatever you believe in, because whoever watches whatever entity or whatever thing, but I believe in God, true and living God. And I've known you have to make sure that relationship with Him is ideal. And after you done make sure that ideal, figure out how you want your life to be. And this is where purpose will tie in. You figure out whether I want to be an electrician, whether, if you're not book smart, okay, let me try and say
A trade or whatever.
a trade or something of sort. I've seen people that make a lot of money doing trade. You understand? I was doing something for someone and the electrician come in and charge me $3,000. I say, what? You understand?
Yeah.
It's just a trade. This ain't nothing to do with school or book smart. So I would ask them that, and they would get themselves a reflection, and I said, after you do this, you have to be the leader. You have to know it in yourself. You are a leader. A lot of men, young boys, they're not leaders. They just see somebody doing something and they go along with it. And that's not purpose. That's not purpose. And then the last thing I'll say, listen, the last thing I would always tell them is, once you find these things that you want to do, this is where purpose is activated. And once that happens, you will get the life that you want. In other words, you want to be married, you want to have kids, you want to do all of that. But it's not going to happen by you following negative vibes. It has to be positive. And, sometimes I'll ask them, I tell them about my situation. I say, if you want that for your life, then by all means, go ahead. And that's my advice I try to give to them all the time. You know, relationship and God, what you want to do, and how you see yourself the rest of your life. You know.
Yeah, especially I feel that's always important, especially the environments that most of them come from.
That
Because
is
it's like
that is true, boy.
because you
That
can have a bright shining star, but it's like, bro, if you surrounded and
is-
it's like you planting
Yeah.
a plant in barren soil. Like you have a good plant, but because of the environment and ecosystem, it can't grow.
And I think that's the problem right there. That is a major concern. So I don't know. I don't have the answers for that. But all I can do is try to encourage you and try to give you a mindset or show you that someone that did it. You know, my old man, them come out of the ghetto too. And they had all those challenges, but they faced too. It might be different back in the 70s and the 80s, but it was not as much as now, you know, but they still made it out, you know. But
All right. So what's the next steps for
next step, well, currently right now, to be honest, and I believe that the Church of God is about to, I guess, place me somewhere to be some type of a pastor.
Okay.
Because I'm in a program called Ministerial Internship Program. This is why I called you yesterday. You sit under a bishop, and a bishop would tell you how to run church, what you got to do, and the different ins and outs.
Okay.
You know, I've been there for 9 months, 7 months. I'm soon finishing. When I finish, you go to a graduation in Cleveland, Tennessee, and, you know, because, you know, and then they would present to you and you would be what you call an ordained minister, and that gives you the privilege to probably take on a church and what's not. So right now, I believe that's the next. The next is probably going to do my master's degree, like I said, and that's it right there. I'm schooling right now. For the time that I've lost, I'm schooling. That's all I'm doing right now. Schooling, family. That's me right there. Ministry. You understand? God, family, then church. That's my motto. God, family, then church. You know?
So any last words before we wrap up? You know, this has been great.
Yeah, I
And
enjoyed it. Yeah.
And like I tell you, I was like, I can leave it down.
Yeah.
We can tell the story.
Yeah.
But like, what's it like? Any final words that you have for us? As far as like, you know, we still young in 2025. They ain't got so crazy. What it is? The 10. It'll be 5 years, I think, later on, as of this recording this week, that the pandemic happened.
Yeah, pandemic is over.
Yeah,
But
so-
I want to say this though. Another pandemic about to come. You know, let me don't prophesy. Let me don't speak. No, I can leave it as that. I'll save that for YAC.
Okay.
But this is what I want to tell everybody. And this is not a motivation, and this is something to keep you going.
Yeah.
Okay? We have to get back to farming.
That's what a lot of people are saying. You know,
You have to.
You know, Apostle Benjamin, I feel his last name.
That's my spiritual father, Apostle Benjamin Smith.
Yes.
That's my
And
spiritual
that's the
father.
same thing he
Yeah.
was saying, because I have his, like, he'll come on BTH and I have his number too.
Yeah.
But like, he's been saying that for the last, like,
Yeah.
2 years or so.
That's a mentor of mine. Yeah, man. But we have to, because you see what's going on with Trump and all them, the tariff and the food and all this thing,
Yeah.
like that. We have to, in order for you to survive these next couple, maybe 5 years plus, make sure you invest in something that will sustain you. That's my advice I could give you. Get into farming, and I'm not saying be stringent with your money, but watch how you spending your money.
Yeah.
Because there is a time coming where it will be a little shorter. You could see a glimpse of it from the eggs.
Yeah.
We see it, you see how when the eggs came in, everyone was buying them by the cases.
Yeah,
There are more
same,
times coming like this, Bahamas. So you gotta get yourself together. You know, it ain't all about partying and drinking and buying bottles and all of that. Make sure you secure yourself for what is to come. And I ain't trying to scare nobody. We can be all right. We always be all right in the Bahamas. But you have to make sure that you have some quote unquote a backup. Let's put it like that. You have a security measure. And that's what it. But anyways, I want to say this thing. Then that's it. No matter how much times you fall down, get up and keep moving. That's it.
Get up and keep moving. And we end that 1-0.
Yes, sir.
come over to chill on the beach, but they don't come over the hill where we sleep. We got nightmares and they got fantasies.